this Maimon is not from the Hemshech of Tafshin Chav Hey, because we're kind of almost at the end of we have one or two short Mamorim to go. So I thought that we would do something, Elul, and this Maimon, because this is the Maimon that Lahak just reworked and posted, and people are learning this all over the world, Chassidim all over the world. So I see also the same Kviyos as this year, that Parshas Re'eh, Shabbos Varchim Elul, was Erev Rish Chodesh. So we'll begin. Yeah, Yankee, good to see you too, even though you didn't respond on the WhatsApp. Good. Okay,
Good morning,
let's begin.
Rabbi, yes.
I
said, good morning, yes. Good to be here.
You what?
I said, good to be here.
At 770, you're in 770, just your background. What is that?
B'machshava.
It's what?
B'machshava, yes.
Hearing, okay. And לדודי ודודי לי, so I am to my friend, beloved friend, ודודי לי, my beloved to me, Rashi Tevis Elo is Rashi Tevis Elo. This is from the Vudraham. Mavu b'zeh b'drushai de b'lekot Torah, and explained in the famous Maimer lekot Torah, Pashas Re'eh. And then b'drushai Rabbi Seini Seini Shalachar is ad l'drush nesidereinu. In my bottom of the Rabbi, after him, including the Maimer of Nesidereinu, Shezeo, why is this pasuk Rashi Tevis Elul? Lefi shebe'elul maschil b'chinas ani l'doidi, because Elul begins the avodah of I am to my beloved, dahainu b'chinas aserusa deletata. This is in contrast to Nisan, which is the first of the months, which is the opposite. That's doidi li, vani loy. But ani l'doidi v'doidi li, this is Elul. So the first part of the pasuk ani l'doidi, that's our avodah aserusa deletata. Ad Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippurim, Sheim B'chinas Hamshachas Elikusei Lamato, and that culminates Hashanah Yom Kippur. Hashem responds, and his godliness is revealed Lamato. That's B'chinas V'doidi Li. V'hainu. That's what it says in the Lekot Torah. Sha'avodah Melamato Ani L'doidi B'meshach Chodesh Elul. The whole avodah of Ani L'doidi, that defines the month of Elul. V'amshachim b'lamayla, and Hashem's response v'doidi li, he basara yom mish bin Hashanah v'yediyam HaKippurim. That's the Aseret Yemei Tshuva. Aseret Yemei Tshuva. That's the Alter Rebbe says in the Lekot Torah. L'chayden in moving, it would appear not understood by Shari B'tevis Elul nichlel gam Rashi Tevis shel v'doidi li. So the first letter spell the word Elul, but the last words of a doidi li, which is not Elul. That's a Shona Yom Kippur. V'imken madu hamshachim l'maylo. He b'aseres Tshuva. So why is the hamshacha l'maylo in aseres Tshuva when it should be in Elul? Not always is the question phrased that way. Sometimes it's just phrased stam, that it's a stira. Doidi is only the first words, yet doidi refers to Shana Yom Kippur. It's a contradiction in the Rashi Tevis, contradict the meaning of the words. But here he's saying, but do Amshach, why should the Amshach be? It says to me, why wait for then? It should be now. Because doidi li is already included in Rashi Tevis of the word Elul. It's a nuanced question. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looked a little bit ahead. You see, the Rebbe is already taking us to Simchas Torah. So, kind of consistent in the Shaila here. Why wait for the Amshach? Doidili, why say Tshuva? It's already in Elul. You'll see, Behemshech. That's one question. And likewise, as it brought down another Sforim, Reshis Chochmah is the first place this appears. It appears, namely, the last letters of the four words are four yuds. So that's the 40 days. All right, this was the last 40 days Moishe Rabbeinu was in Har Sinai when he invoked Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim and came down Yom Kippur with the Luchas Shnis, the second set of Luchas. So it goes all the way to Yom Kippur. That's into two and the 4 Yud. So it's a contradiction. The Rashi Tevis tell me Elul, and the Sefer Tevis tell me not Elul, all the way to Sesame Tshuva. How does Sesame Tshuva fit with Rashi Tevis? Now, it's also implied in the question, is the Rashi Tevis of the Iker? Primary content conveyed here are the first letters of each word. And they spell the word Elul. So the 4 Yuds that spell out the 40 days, that's secondary. So, but how is it Nichlel? How is it Sesame Tshuva part of Elul? So 2 shilas. Why is the Hamshacha later should be now in Elul? Ideally, if it spells Elul. And since we're forced to say from the Sefer Tevis, Yud, 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 that it's the 40 days all the way to Sesame Tshuva, how does it fit in Elul? Is base. V'inei kol avodah milamata, all avodah that we do, tzarich sheyeh lo ezer v'siyuah milamayla, we need assistance. B'pchinis asrusa de la'ela, an awakening from above. So even though he's saying that ani לדודי, the ikar avodah of Elul, right, Tishrei, we're making the Eibishter as king, it's got to come from the people. So it's our avodah, but our avodah, it means 2 things. It means, as we learned in previous Maamar, number 1, Pashat, to do anything we need God's help. That's talking about the Yetzer Hara. If not for the Eibishter, he brings in Tanya, this Gemara, Kedushin, if the Eibishter would help a Yid, he would succumb. They're locked in battle, and the Eibishter comes to his assistance. So we Pashat need help to kickstart, to do anything, to accomplish anything. In addition, Susa de Leila is in order to touch Hashem. Our avodah should touch Hashem. This itself he empowers. It's also implied in the Susa de Leila. But here he emphasizes HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like Pashat. In order to be able to do anything, we need Hashem's help. So therefore, it's understood even though with the whole emphasis is our avodah, but still, it has to be the awakening from above, the empowerment. And that implies there could be avodah without it, but b'shleimus, you need God's help, whatever the beer that there is. I'm just pointing out because HaKadosh Baruch Hu means he would fail if God wouldn't help. Now he says that there is an element of avodah, but b'shleimus you need Rasusa de Leila. So where is the awakening and the empowerment from above? As explains in the Torah. Quote, V'nei noida, it's known, that Elul is the time of these galus of Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim. Again, the market is, Pashat, the story, that Moishe Rabbeinu elicited God's forgiveness, Matzliach, in the last 40 days that he was up there. Middle 40 days, Hashem was still very in a state of kas, of anger. And then he went up Rosh Chodesh Elul, came down Yom Kippur with the second set of luchas, and that's when he affected Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim, which the Eibishter showed him. But just to remind you of the history, Pashat Chumash Rashi. The Eibishter, when he went up to receive the Torah, so the Eibishter then taught him Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim, and Rashi brings there when he said Chumash Rashi, when the Eibishter said Erech Apayim, the Eibishter said to him, for Sadikim and Rishoyim. And Moshe Rabbeinu's response was, Rishoyim, let them Yevedu. They sinned, they should be lost. Hashem told him, I promise you, you're going to need this. Chayecha shetitzdarech lezeh. And taka by Cheta Egel, and likewise by the Meraglim, the same thing. He invokes again, at least a part of the Gimel Midas HaRachamim. But this was all taught him on Har Sinai. And in Pashtus, he was successful with it. They showed him how to do it, to wrap in a talus. Even when the schus of office is no longer, say this, you'll it will never give Midas HaRachamim, will never and not illicit, will never return empty-handed, literally. So this was all l'chayre be'ikad when in the last 40 days. That's the noida l'chayre. But the chiddush of Chassidus is that it didn't just happen there once, but it's every year. Every year, the chiddush elul, the 40 days, is the Yizgalus till Yom Kippur, that we give him the Sarachamim. Shal Yedei Yizgalus Zu. So this is the empowerment. That Nas is Havod and Yedei B'Shleimus. Again, it's interesting here, he stresses B'Shleimus, that the Avodah should be complete, whole. And that elicits Hashem's response for Doidi Li. Shehi Amshocha Milamayla Baseres Mitzvah, as we said earlier, that's Hashem's response in Aseres Mitzvah. What's Aseres Mitzvah? So where's Hashem's response? Conveyed in this pasuk, in Meshakos of Smoilai. His left hand, she's speaking, Shir Ashirim. Left hand is Bechinas Yira, that's Gvura, that's Yira, that's Avodah Rosh Hashanah, Kabbalas Oil, and Yom Kippur. Tachas Laroishi, under my head, that's an allusion to Rosh Hashanah. His left hand is under my head, cradles my head. And then the pasuk continues, Vachakach Gili Harachmim Bachesed. Then that leads to the shleimus of Rachmim Chesed, V'yiminoi Techapkeni. The pasuk goes on to say, with his right hand, he embraces me. And that's Sukkah, that's the Sukkah. You mean right, Chesed, embraced like the Sukkah embraces, literally like an arm. The halacha sukkah has to have 2 walls and a bit. That's literally the arm, the 2 arms and the hand. So that's, as I told you before, it goes all the way to Chagasukas Atzim Chastoyre Besimcha Tishrei, and that Yeminite Chapkeni with his right hand, he embraces me, is all the way to Simchas Torah Shezeh Akeli Ilam. So it's going right to, taking us right to the end here. And the brachas. Shezeh Akeli Lam Shachas Kol HaBrachas V'Atoiv Al Kol HaShana Kula. It is beautiful. We just started Shabbos Nevarach Elul. The Rebbe is not waiting. It's already that bracha, Simchas Torah, the shleimus of all the brachas and good for the whole year. Okay, that's what the Alter Rebbe says is happening in Elul. They give this man, his galus, should give him Midas HaRachamim. Mamshech Shon, the Alter Rebbe goes on to say there the famous question, to understand this, why are they ordinary weekdays? And they're not Yom Tov like Shabbos or Yom Tov. Given that it's a very lofty divine revelation, you give them Midas HaRachamim. And clearly it's not like Yom Kippur, she'oz, who is galus, you'd give him Midas HaRachamim. Then that's the shleimus, when it comes down the Moishe Rabbeinu with the second luchas. That's why we say it over and over again, right? On Yom Kippur. So it's not like Yom Kippur Elul, or Bavada Yishefresh God Yom Kippur Elul. And there's certainly a big difference. I think the pshat in these words mean, obviously there's a difference in Yom Kippur and Elul. What's certainly, but certainly. He's talking about the Gimel Midas HaRachamim. That the Gilui, the Gimel Midas HaRachamim in Elul is not the same as the Gilui in the month of Elul. So what is it and why isn't it Yom Tov? What it is, and yet it's not Yom Tov. Now the Rebbe adds, this is the Alter Rebbe. Now the Rebbe adds, even during the weekday, the year round, yes, man is galus Midas HaRachamim. We have this revelation, right? Tachanan. We say it in Tefillah. Mashenkin be'elul ein niked inyan zeh, but in Elul we don't see where is the inyan that we're given with the sarachamim. L'chayr is asking, during the week you see it, but you say it. So that's his man, you say it. Elul, the whole period is you're given with the sarachamim, and it's not expressed in anything. V'tzarich limud meyuchad shesh az is galuzu. We need to be told. The Alter Rebbe says v'noida. I think that means by these words that now it's revealed to us and we're told. So we mamshich it machshava dibur ma'aseh. True, it's got to come down in action. But the shayla is, where is it manifest? We don't see anything in Elul that points to, you'd give him b'des harachamim. That's the shayla. This is unusually spelled out a little bit here. Okay, we're clear? Mavayir, Naltebe answers, Sheyuvan, Alpi Moshel Melech. So he quotes the Moshel completely here. The Moshel, by the way, is extremely strange from beginning to end, but that's addressed elsewhere. Everything is upside down in the Moshel. At any rate, but the Moshel in Pashtus. Shekait and Bayeli'ir, before the king comes to the city, like the first shayla that Rabbi asks elsewhere is, Shekait and Bayeli'ir, like it sounds like the king's place is outside the city. That's his place. When he comes into the city, he goes to the field. Talk about the king starts in the palace. And then he has the people in the field. But they're in the city. And everybody's in the wrong place. Okay, this is mavur elsewhere. Shekait and Bayli'ir, before he comes to the city, Yoitzin Anshay Likrose. So the people from the city go out to greet him. Look, the shayla here is no, they're field people. That's the point. Our world is the field. We're the southern people. No, they're going from the field to the southern. At any rate, so the people of the city go out. They could also to greet him. Makablim part of the southern, receiving his countenance in the field. For us, and then Rashoin, permission is granted, and the Fitgere adds v'yachaylim. Never almost always, I think without exception, always. When quoting the Moshe Dal Rebbe would quote the Fitike Rebbe's V'chelim, and you're able to, not just permission is granted, but you can. Call Misha writes anybody that wants lotzis lakbil ponov to go out and to receive the king. For who and he, the king, Makablis Kulam receives all of them, Besev upon him Yafis. With a pleasant disposition, Umar upon him and shows a smiling face to all of them. All these dukem explained in the Maamarim over the years. And when he goes into the city, they follow him. It's all the Alter Rebbe's words. And then when he comes to his palace, you can only enter with permission. That's number one. And moreover, a further restriction. Only the choice, and people of distinction. Now that's what seems to exclude most people. We'll see what the Rebbe says in a minute. Likewise, the Rebbe continues, we go out. Now the Rebbe adds this. Who's that? B'nai Yisrael Yidden. He kind of answers why we're not in the field and why we're coming from the city. Because be'emes shem anshe ya'ir. Yidden belong in the city, which is a place of development, of civilization. Baruchnius. About the city, it says, Pasuk and Tilim quoted and said this frequently, God is great and very praised in the city of our God. That's the city. The city is a place which is a dira, where there's a home, and so on. That's where Yidden belong. But they leave there, lahakbil, they're near Elokeinu. But they go out to receive Panav Yisbarach Basada. These are the Alter Rebbe's words again. His blessed countenance in the field. I think it's Alter Rebbe's words here. Then they go back into the city, because their longing and their desire is to enter into the king's palace. Now, this is the Rebbe for sure. And even though coming into his palace, he said you need permission, and only the choice, gula, and individuals of distinction. But every Jew, the Eibishter said before Matan Torah, and told Moishe to convey to the Yidden these words: "V'yisim lis gula mikol amim." You should be a people of distinction from all the nations. The world said we're all the Anshe Gula, we're all the people of distinction. So this is the month of Tishrei. Which follows Elul, we enter with the king into his palace. Again, the Rebbe takes us all the way to the end now. There's no waiting. Till the ultimate connection, Simchas Torah, that the Simcha is extremely great. Yosim is Simchas Beis HaShe'eva, even greater than Simchas Beis HaShe'eva, which the Gemara says, so he didn't see it, never saw Simcha in his life. Simchas Torah is even greater. Kama Makayim is explaining Kama Makayim is still look at the Torah. She'oz, this is a reference to Shmini Atzeres. Yisrael or Malka Bilchadoi, it's the Eden and the king alone, whereas Sukkos, we're bringing korbanos on behalf of all the nations of the world. The 70 korbanos. Okay, so we're there already, just got to fill it in. It took us already to the conclusion. It's a lot easier. We've already arrived. Now we're just going to go through the whole Avodah and fill in the blanks, make the connections. I mean, this is the empowerment. The Maimer maps out the whole Seder Havodah. This Gufa is the Nesinas Koyach. This is where we're plugging in to get the Nesinas Koyach, to get there, to make it happen. Gimel. Hine Noisef lakach shebechadish elo yitzil hakbol oir panav yizbarach basodeh. In addition to the fact that the month of Elul, where do we go to receive the king, is in the field. And then and then when he goes back into the city, they follow him like into the chamber of his palace. Now, this is a diuk here. Hainu should like him. Did they leave the field behind? Why bother? Why go there? If we're staying in the city, if we're people of the city, stay in the city. Stay in the city and then go from the city into the palace. No, because it's all shlichus into this world, elevate the tzutzik dusha. We take the field, we elevate it to the level of the city, and then even higher to the palace. In addition to that, yes, this is very powerful. Yes, chidush and is another chidush. Shetrichim likach we have to take, or lahalis and elevate, and yet in mitnem, and that's the word that be used. Take with. It's more than elevate. Mitnemen, it's part of you. What? Gam b'sein yodem shebemidbar. The desert. I'm not supposed to be in the desert. He doesn't speak about the desert. Actually, he says, not the desert. Quote, Shezeh Shemam Shebelkot Torah says Nakot Torah. V'hine yesh b'odom b'chinas ir moishav. A person could be in a developed city, b'chinas sodo midbar, or in a field and a desert. What's a desert? Midbari eretz lo yizrua. That's a place where there's no growth. Shalachein midbar lamata misada, therefore their beds, the midbar's below a field. Kisod hiachon lemakim yishuv. The field feeds. It's a preparation for the place of settlement. Shari besada zoydi matvu, in the field, the grain is sowed. Shemana yetzilechem, from which bread comes, and bread, the staff of life. V'lechem levav enesh yisod. Bread satisfies the heart of man. Mashenkein midbar eretz leizrua, but a desert nothing grows. Mitam zeh, and that's the reason, interesting, that afar hamidbar posel kisui dam. Kisui dam, after shchita of the bird, of the animal. So you have to cover it with blood. But it has to be covered with that which things could grow from. Actually, other things can be used as well, but they have to be called offer. But the sand of a desert doesn't qualify. Not anything grows then, it's not called offer. And you can't use therefore, you can't use sand from a desert to cover the blood. It doesn't grow growths. Because holiness is growth. There's growth and there's birth. Since the earth, the sand of the desert doesn't grow, things don't grow, doesn't cause growth, it's the earth that causes the growth, as explained in Chassidus, recently in Tanya. Therefore, it's invalid to cover the blood. It's not kedusha. So the Rebbe is saying, the desert is a place of howling and screeching creatures. It's a terrifying place. It's a place of actions and words and thoughts that are not dedicated to Hashem. Now the Rebbe is saying, we got to elevate that too. Midbar, the pasuk describes, it's a place where no man lives. Who's the man? It's the neshama. Who is this man? The source is the supernal man. And on the image of the throne, which is atop the chariot, is the muskamari Adam, is the image of a man. It's Atzilus and higher. And neshama mirrors that. That's when neshama comes. So no man dwells in the desert. Not just Adam Elyon, godliness is not revealed there, but a person. It's not a place of Torah mitzvahs. Torah mitzvahs is about settling the world, developing it, and the desert is a wasteland. And yet, it's not so clear in the Kota Torah that he just mentions there's Soda and there's Midbar. And he doesn't say that Elul elevates Midbar. Elul is Soda. I mean, you have to see the Isis inside, but the Rebbe is clearly saying that we are elevating even if we're in a Midbar. This is the additional Chiddush. Not just the Soda, but this is the additional Chiddush of Chiddush Elul, Shagam Imeze Sibbe, that even if for whatever reason, Chota, he sinned, Upogam, and he blemished, V'ovaras HaDerech, and he literally went off the way, in the Chiddush Elul, Chiddush HaTshuva V'Atikon, Elul is the month of Tshuva and fixing, Gamal and Yonem Elu, even such things. The Yosef Chiddush HaCheshben, V'Atshuva, Al Avodah, to the mitzvahs of Meshach HaShana. It's the month of reckoning in tshuva for the avodah of the mitzvahs that we should have done throughout the year. Shebechlolos, in general, nechlekes the beis hakavim divides into the two areas of av and yirah, love and awe. Why? Sha'av is sherish korach mitzvahs aseh. Alter explains that love is the fuel for all positive commandments. You love, therefore you want to connect. And awe of God is the source of respecting the prohibitions. And the adds further, and this is conveyed. The two mitzvahs said the first two commandments are Noichi, I. That incorporates all the 240 positive commands. Well, Yilachal Kol Shasem Mitzvahs Leisa said, and you shall have no other God before me. That's the source and incorporates all the 365 prohibitions, which is why we only heard that 2 out of 613. Yeah, because these 2 include everything. Mevur Betanya. Now comes the connection to Elul specifically. This is unique to this Maimon. Therefore, since you just finished saying that we have to address the mitzvah saseh, mitzvah slay saseh, therefore the cheshbon of Elul is in the 2 movements of ani lidodi, malamata lamayla. Now what's that? That's yira. That's awe of God. Why is awe of God milamata lamayla, not milamayla lamata? If something is awesome, you're afraid. True. Because true yira, true respect is something that you have to give. True respect is something, it's a decision that you give. Whereas v'doidi li, my beloved to me, Ava, that's love because that person is lovable. You're gonna only love something that's lovable. So that has to be a gili milamayla. But respect, something you gotta give. Respect isn't elicited necessarily. So that's the 2 inyonim here of ani lidodi v'doidi li. Yira and Ava, which is mitzvahs leisas and mitzvahs asay, the general cheshbon over our behavior in the past, in terms of what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Question to speak up. Come here.
No, I'm just thinking. But for Yira, Hashem. I mean, if Hashem were to reveal himself to us, or if the Eibishter were to reveal himself to us, then we'd have Yira.
That's right, but he doesn't. Right. But he doesn't. Yeah. This is Kabbalah soil.
But the same is for Ava. But when he does, but Ava.
So why is there Ava?
Yeah.
But I mean, Yiddishkeit is lovable. I mean, the benefits you can see in Yiddishkeit. It's clearly, a virtuous thing. Not sinning. It's not inspiring. There's no inspiration in not sinning. Doing a mitzvah is an inspiring, engaging moment. That needs Kabbalah soil. You're right. Beichel malchusay, then the yira is natural. But that's
Eish oichla, etc. Eish oichla, etc. He's a consuming fire, Eish oichla, and so on.
So at our Sinai Taka, they were trembling there with awe. But in general, yira, fear, when God is not revealed in this obvious way, is something that Kabbalah soil that we have to summon. But there's still the element, as we're saying now, of Ava, of love, because it's enjoyable and it's beautiful.
Not the lower level of fear is not something that has to be elicited. I mean, the lower level of fear is just, it's probably
I'm sorry.
The lower level of fear, you're a tata.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that's natural. It's also something that's natural, the fear of punishment. It's the most basic form of relationship you have with Hashem. It's not revealed, it's innate. I have this sense that if I do something wrong, that I'm going to be punished.
So good, that's Melamat, you see you're adding. That's Melamat Lamaila, that's my sense. It's not not because of a revelation, it's something that I'm giving.
You're not giving it, that you kind of know it. That the average human feels like there's consequence to their negative actions.
And yet, okay, I'll answer you. Good point. And yet we still manage to sin because you can easily just put it aside. It's not in front of you, the punishment. You've got to stop and think it, sober up. But the moment of the sin, no revelation, and you got a Kabbalah soil. It's easy to forget the punishment thing.
It's because you're Ashkenazi.
What?
It's because you're Ashkenazi. It's because you're
Oh,
Ashkenazi.
Okay, if you forget us, we'll stop here. It's Rosh Chodesh, and we'll continue tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem. Okay.
Bayach.
Guys, wonderful turnout. Mamish, guys you don't see, it's like